Let's set off on a voyage across eras and lands, discovering the precious treasures of an area that has stood as a meeting point for different cultures for many ages. Historical significance. Central Asia has been a hub of various cultures and ideas throughout history. Empires that emerged and declined have profoundly shaped this region. How people lived in Central Asia mainly depended on its weather and landscape. The dryness made farming tough, and being far from the sea limited trading. This resulted in only a few big cities growing here. Instead, the open grasslands were ruled by nomadic groups on horseback for thousands of years. Around the first and second thousand years before our time, powerful states started sprouting up at the southern edge of Central Asia. Examples are the Median Empire and the Achaemenid Empire, which controlled parts of this area. Chinese states also aimed to stretch their influence westward. But even with their strong armies, these states struggled to conquer the entire region. In 840, the Uyghur Empire fell apart due to differences between the roaming and settled communities. At the same time, Islam was making its way across Central Asia. China and the Persian Empire weakened between the late 9th and early 10th centuries. So, from the 10th to the 13th century, Central Asia couldn't do its usual job of transmitting things like it always had. The Mongols played a big role in Central Asia's story. They took over much of the area and built the Mongol Empire, the biggest empire ever in terms of continuous land. After the Mongols left, Central Asia's role changed. In the east, China became less open to others, isolating itself. You could say they were xenophobic. Persia also turned away from foreign influences. Central Asia couldn't continue its role of spreading ideas and culture. Central Asia's best times were from 800 to 1100, when it was home to big empires and important trade roads. This period brought about long-lasting cultural and intellectual achievements. But by the 14th century, during Tamerlane's time, many things that had supported Central Asia's growth were fading, and even Tamerlane's empire lasted only a short time. Geography and diversity. Central Asia has diverse landscapes ranging from towering mountain ranges like Tian Shan and vast deserts such as Kizilkum and Taklamakan to grassy plains without many trees. The region also boasts fertile valleys that have nurtured various ethnic communities. The ethnic groups that have made Central Asia their home are Uzbeks, Kazakhs, Tajiks, and Kyrgyz. These groups have woven together different languages, customs, and artistic expressions, creating a beautiful tapestry of cultural harmony. The dryness of the region's climate makes farming a challenging endeavor, and its remote location away from the sea limits trade opportunities. This circumstance resulted in the limited growth of large cities in the area. Instead, for countless generations, the region was shaped by the nomadic horse-riding peoples of the grassy plains. The region's geographical layout has significantly influenced its inhabitants' way of life. Architectural heritage. It's impossible to leave out its amazing buildings when discussing Central Asia. Samarkand, Uzbekistan's Registan Square, is a true masterpiece of Islamic design and stands out as one of Central Asia's architectural marvels. In Persian, Registan means a sandy place or desert. This square was the main spot during the time when the Timurid Renaissance was happening. There are two main buildings on Registan Square, Ulugh Beg Madrasa from the 15th century and Tilyakari Madrasa Mosque from the 17th century. The square is surrounded by three Islamic schools, which we call madrasas. They look unique and show off the special way they built things in this region, blending Persian, Islamic, and Turkic styles because of the history there. One of the buildings, the Ulugh Beg Madrasa, was made by Ulugh Beg when the Timurid Empire was strong. It has this big entrance arch called an Iwan, and tall towers are on the corners. The part over the entrance arch has this cool mosaic with fancy shapes and designs. The middle of the square has a mosque and rooms where lectures happen, and there are student rooms along the edges. The Registan Square is like a treasure right in the middle of the old city of Samarkand. People worldwide know about it because of the incredible buildings that show off the special way they used to build things in the East. It's like a piece of art representing this region's history and culture. The Silk Road legacy. The Silk Road was a network of trade routes that facilitated economic, cultural, political, and religious interactions between the East and West. The Silk Road spanned over 6,400 kilometers and connected East and Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, the Middle East, East Africa, and Europe. The Silk Road derives its name from the highly lucrative trade of silk textiles produced almost exclusively in China. The network began with the Han Dynasty's expansion into Central Asia, around 114 BCE, through the missions and explorations of the Chinese imperial envoy Zheng Qian, which brought the region under unified control. The Silk Road left an indelible mark on Central Asia, and bustling cities like Bukhara and Khiva flourished as thriving trade hubs, leaving a legacy of prosperity and cultural exchange. The Silk Road consisted of an extensive network of trade routes that had been around for over 2,000 years, connecting the West with the East. The Silk Road was not a single definitive trail, but rather an umbrella term for a web of trade routes between China and Europe formed over a period of around 1,600 years, from the 2nd century BCE to 1450. The Silk Road was an essential commerce lifeline, facilitating the exchange of silk, spices, and ideas. Traditional cuisine. Exploring Central Asia would not be fully experienced without enjoying its traditional food. The food of Central Asia shows the history of the region's nomadic culture, with hearty dishes like plov, a flavorful rice dish, and logman, a tasty noodle dish. Dairy items and juicy meats play a big role, showing the cooking styles of people closely connected to the land. This nomadic way of eating, focused on meat and dairy, is seen in places like Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. In various parts of Central Asia, meals are enjoyed sitting on the floor with multiple plates on a special cloth called dasturkhan. As a sweet treat, halva, made from sesame seeds and flour, is a favorite dessert. Modern transformation. The 20th century posed significant challenges for Central Asia, with Soviet control followed by newfound independence. When the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991, 5 countries in Central Asia became independent. These fresh nations faced several issues, including tensions between Russians and the main ethnic groups, a lack of democratic experience, and being somewhat cut off geographically. Leaving the Soviet Union, the Central Asian countries had some advantages and disadvantages. Nowadays, these nations are blending modernization with their rich traditions. They also take on ambitious projects to improve their infrastructure and export energy. Positioned between Russia and China, Central Asia's location greatly impacts its politics. It's like a meeting point for influential countries such as Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, and India. Central Asia's unique history and cultural legacy still shape how the region sees itself as it moves ahead. The area's diverse geography, from mountains to deserts, has influenced how its societies and economies have grown. So, Central Asia is holding on to its history while looking to make the most of the present and future opportunities. Tourism potential. Central Asia is becoming increasingly popular thanks to better infrastructure and easier visa processes. This region boasts ancient cities with lively markets and stunning views that stretch from the Caspian Sea to the Pamir Mountains. Travelers are warmly welcomed in Central Asia, where the essence of the Silk Road comes alive like nowhere else. Tourism is expanding in Central Asia, and getting a visa is simpler due to more relaxed rules. However, in some countries, the visa policies are still quite strict. For instance, in certain places, tourists must register at a hotel or hostel every night. If you prefer avoiding the challenges of logistics and language barriers, joining guided tours can be a smart choice during your Central Asia adventure. The top countries to explore in Central Asia include Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan. These destinations offer a mix of history, culture, nature, cuisine, and some of the most hospitable people you'll encounter anywhere in the world. While Central Asia is evolving rapidly, many hidden gems are still waiting to be uncovered. Central Asia is a unique destination for travelers, offering a rich blend of history, remarkable architecture, and delightful cuisine. The legacy of the Silk Road, a vast network of trade paths that connected the East and West, has left an enduring influence on Central Asia. As this area undergoes rapid transformation, tourism is rising, with simplified visa processes and relaxed regulations. The people of Central Asia warmly welcome tourists to their nations. Guided tours present an excellent option if you're looking to make the most of your journey through Central Asia while avoiding the complexities of logistics and language. Regardless of whether you're an avid traveler or a curious soul, Central Asia beckons you to discover its concealed treasures. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share with fellow explorers, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating travel insights. Until next time, wander well!